Okay, so welcome to a rewatch with me, Channel Pup, and so today we're basically going to be looking back at a video of mine that has been receiving a fair bit of traction lately. YouTube seems to be recommending it a lot, and that is why the CW's Flash is trash. Basically, this was a video I did as a little rant on CW shows, but mainly the Flash, and we're going to go take a look back at it and see how it holds up, see if my opinions are still the same, and see what I think of my old content. So it's basically reacting to old reviews effectively. So let's just dive straight in. So we got the old intro here. Fond memories. This was the channel at its heyday. This is when it was the most popular it had ever been.
It's no secret that I love superheroes. It's very much what this channel is about. And I love superhero movies and superhero shows. For the longest time, this channel was all about Gotham. Before branching
yes, the old Gotham days.
Cinematic universe. And because I talked so much and so enthusiastically about Gotham, people would naturally ask, well, what about the other DC Universe TV shows? And that's fully understandable, with perhaps some of the most commonly requested content relating to the CW's Arrowverse. So I'm just going to come right out and say that as of right now, I have zero plans of talking at all about the CW's Arrowverse shows. Why?
Yeah, I've barely talked about it. I've kept my word on that.
Like I haven't given any of it a chance. I just cannot be bothered with the CW's Arrowverse. For the same reason that I just cannot be bothered with the CW altogether. I watched the entire first season of The Flash. I watched a few episodes of Legends of Tomorrow Season 1. And not that this counts, but I watched the entire first season of Supergirl back when it was on CBS as opposed to the CW. And the only one of these that I got any kind of consistent enjoyment out of was Supergirl.
Okay, so it must be stated, the writing in Supergirl isn't great by any stretch. There is entertainment to be had, but I don't know how good of a show I would necessarily call it. Yeah, no, like, the writing was incredibly sickly, arguably more so than The Flash Season 1 was, but, yeah, odd way to preface this. It definitely feels like it's trying to be more of a CW thing, and for a show that I've stated that I wasn't really very fussed about, we got a 20-minute video out of this, so let's keep on watching.
Back when it was on CBS. Having seen bits of Supergirl from the CW run, it's a very different story though. So first I'm going to...
No, it really isn't a very different story. It's pretty much the exact same.
Talk about my impressions of The Flash Season 1. Now, many people say that The Flash Season 1 is the absolute best of the show. And if that is the case, then oof, I'm glad I didn't watch the rest. So as far as the actual story arc...
Well, the thing is, from some bits I've seen, it might be that I might have actually preferred some of the later stuff that came in. I'm not sure. But I've seen some cool battle scenes on YouTube. But I've heard that Iris becomes more intrusive in later seasons, and yeah, Iris was a big bone of contention for me.
There's actually some stuff to really like about The Flash Season 1. I liked our villain story, the story of Eobard Thawne taking on the form of Harrison Wells, a trusted character to Barry Allen. I liked the whole thing with the Flash wanting to go back and save his mother, but making the painful decision not to, and the whole thing of Barry wanting justice for his father, as well as growing up with a foster family. There is a lot to really like about this story. It is a great story. It's just the characters and the character interactions that inhabit that story that I cannot stand. It seems that since Season 4, it's been pretty cool to hate Iris West as a character, and from what I can determine from fan reactions, it's that she's become too intrusive of a part of the show. But honestly, I couldn't stand Iris West long before it was cool. For starters, Barry and Iris...
Alright, you hipster.
are raised effectively as a patchwork brother and sister in this show. So I just find it so utterly strange that Barry is effectively spending the entirety of Season 1 wanting to hump his utterly oblivious stepsister. That just comes off as in pretty bad taste. What is this? What is Central City in Alabama? I know they're not biological.
I had all of the charisma of a foot back then, didn't I? Like, what is that joke delivery? Like, Christ. Also, yeah, just this video, I don't know how you guys watch this stuff back in the day. It's literally like watching a PowerPoint presentation. I don't know, maybe it was fit for purpose then, but I definitely tried to strive to do a bit more with it.
biologically brother and sister, so theoretically there isn't really anything wrong with that, but it's this utterly squeaky clean CW show, and they're raised as brother and sister, to the point where they make such a point of Joe West being the secondary father figure to Barry Allen. So what is the family dynamic here? They're raised as a family, almost as if they're biological, yet Barry's decided that Iris West is the girl he wants to be with for the rest of his life. That's just odd to me.
It is peculiar.
That is
it must be
something
said.
that you can move past, and is something that I definitely did try to move past, but it is something that comes up immediately to mind when I think of the CW Flash. Moving past my own personal reservations towards this kind of relationship structure, Iris West is painfully unlikable in season 1 of The Flash. It is so obvious from day one that Barry Allen loves Iris. He absolutely adores this woman, and it is so obvious. And Iris just comes across as too oblivious to this. To the
Okay, so rename the video Why Iris West is Trash, effectively.
extent of proactively rubbing it in Barry's nose that she is with Eddie Thorne. So then when Barry tries to move on, Iris is suddenly not okay with this, and decides to go out of her way to try and break them up. And then how Iris West reacts to Barry Allen being the Flash. She starts treating him as this guardian angel that must submit to her every demand. And a big problem with this show is that
I didn't really back that up, I feel like there's definitely some evidence in there that could have backed that up, but like, I think it had been quite a while between making this video and actually seeing The Flash Season 1, and I haven't seen it since. So it's like, I feel like I maybe should have rewatched a few episodes to get it more fresh in my head, I guess.
Barry Allen's love for Iris West takes such a central part of this show, or at least in season 1 anyway. Now, having our hero have to sort of overcome trials and tribulations in their pursuit of love is nothing really new, and it can make for a more compelling story to give them this sort of goal point. It's like what they did with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films with Mary Jane Watson. And the behavior of Mary Jane Watson in the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man films did push things a bit. They did kind of make her a bit unlikable by most standards. But Iris West...
Don't talk shit about Sam Raimi Spider-Man, past pup. That's not cool. We've been over this. Her whole thing was that she was indecisive. She was a flawed character. That was the whole thing.
Is just far too unlikable. To an extent where I just don't want her in the show. She's so smug, she's an absolute brat, and she takes up so much of this show. And the show wants us to root for Barry and getting with her. And the show also expects us to root for her and celebrate when things go right for her. I'm sorry, but it just isn't going to happen. And that's absolutely nothing against the actress that plays Iris West. But it's just this character is...
Yeah, must be said, Candice Patton does a fine job with the material she's given, I just don't like this character.
Such a smug presence that just bogs down the entire show. Watching this show, watching any show, is like being within the company of those characters. And when I'm watching this show, I'm in the company of Iris West. A person who I'm being told to like, but is just an utterly smug, horrible person. Forget about it. I get what they were trying to go
Hey, forget about it! Italian-American, hey yo!
for with Star Labs, but integrating this many characters into Barry's life and his superhero antics as the Flash loses some of the necessary independence of the character. It's too intrusive. I can appreciate what they were going for. Supergirl on CBS even did a little bit of this with the DEO, often intervening with Supergirl's actions, and we've got the same with Star Labs intervening with much of what the Flash does. But it just doesn't feel much like Barry Allen is on this journey anymore. It doesn't feel like Barry Allen is the
We are the Flash.
Flash. It feels like they're all the Flash.
Oh, what do you know? What did I predict that this was 2019? Was that a prediction, or let me know, Flash fans, if that was a prediction.
I just think it loses something if superheroes have this massive organization backing them on every single step of their journey. I didn't have an issue with Star Labs being a big part of Barry's origins as the Flash. I had an issue with them being present in every single episode on every single step of the Flash's journey.
Fucked up the words there, didn't I? Single step. Like, that's the kind of thing I would redo these days.
I'd like to be able to see the Flash save the day, do a mission without hearing from constant Star Labs people all about their commentary over what the Flash is doing. I want to be able to say, run Barry, run myself, without having Harrison Wells say it for me. Because ultimately, it just spells out the drama. It feels so much like with a lot of the dialogue that we get from the Star Labs folks watching over Barry Allen, heck, from Barry Allen himself, everybody, it just feels like plot information is just being spoken to us as the audience.
That it does. The thing is, I think that can have its place, but I do think they overdo it in The Flash, but maybe they are trying to appeal to a different demographic that I'm not really a part of. The thing that kind of boggles my mind is I feel like it's very much targeted at kind of a young adult, kind of millennial audience, I guess you could say. And it's a superhero show, so theoretically I should be all over that like a fly on shit, effectively. But I don't know. Maybe they are pitching it a little... I don't want to say lower, but I want to say maybe they're pitching it to be more accessible, perhaps, and that just doesn't work for me because it's maybe... I don't want to say too accessible because it makes me sound exclusive. What I mean is, this show really spoon-feeds a lot of its themes and its stories to a degree that I feel is intrusive to the show. It doesn't allow those themes to breathe. You know, if everything is spelled out for the audience, it loses something, and I think that's a big issue with this show.
It feels like I'm being treated like an idiot. It feels like they expect me to need it spelled out for me, what Barry needs to do next.
I was definitely taking it very personally there, Jesus.
How he needs to achieve victory, overcome obstacles. These characters just never shut the hell up, which means I can never feel myself like I'm really experiencing the danger, the stakes, the drama. Which leads me to another issue. There is zero subtlety when it comes to The Flash. I am okay with there being some cheesy and campy dialogue in a superhero film, like Spider-Man 1 for example, so long as it doesn't detract from the filmmaking. Spider-Man 1 is full of campy, quirky dialogue, but the filmmaking is still absolutely stellar, and it's not to tell the story for you, it's not spelling things out for you, it's just funny little lines of dialogue here and there. The Flash Season 1 loves foreshadowing. It prides its...
Okay, I think a better way of wording that point would be to say that Sam Raimi's Spider-Man never feels overly reliant on said hokey dialogue. And yeah, it has a lot of hokey dialogue in there, but it never feels like it lives and dies by it. Whereas I feel like The Flash, much of the storytelling pivots on that dialogue because it's so very present within the show. So I think that's a better way of putting that point forward, is that The Flash has very dumbed down but also incredibly goofy dialogue that in no way reflects how human beings speak, but it doesn't feel like it's done in a way that's stylized or intentional. It feels like it's deliberately being dumbed down because I feel like maybe the show underestimates its audience, I guess. That's probably the point I'm trying to make. Jesus Christ, we're less than halfway into this. How do you guys watch this? How is this getting the views? Like, how is this dislike ratio not higher? Like,
itself all on telling us all about its characters and what kind of a journey they're going to go on.
I'm sorry, there's so many video essays you could be watching, like, okay, not honest trailers, but like, where it went wrong, the rant, that, I don't know, that could be better. Season 6 is utter garbage by Sheaf Talks. Only 4.6k views 11 months ago. Watch that instead of this. This is a picture slideshow. Let's take a quick glance at this other review quickly when it loads. Okay, that's got footage from the show in it. I don't want to get copyright struck, but okay, it's immediately a more dynamic looking video on a whole. I hope he's whitelisted by Warner Brothers. Anyways, thank you for that. Anyway, let's go on.
But it doesn't do
Forge
it
our way
with
through.
any kind of nuance or subtlety. It doesn't do it through clever filmmaking, mise-en-scène, cinematography.
Okay, we get it. You studied at film school.
Anything like that. It does it entirely through dialogue just to explain everything that's going on with these characters. The first episode alone has enough laughable foreshadowing for me to say I'm done. Barry gets attacked by bullies. He tries to run away. He gets attacked. He tells his mother, I guess I wasn't fast enough, and his mother tells him a good heart is better than fast legs. legs. We get it, at the core of every superhero is a good heart, not their superpowers. When the heck did Barry even ask his mother what's more important between a good heart and fast legs? People don't talk like this. We could have spent some time showing that Barry's a good kid, that he's...
This is why I don't like Juno. Because that's one of the most commonly asked questions about my Letterboxd account is, why do you not like Juno? And people don't talk like that. And like, I'm okay with having non-naturalistic dialogue from time to time, but I guess it depends, doesn't it? Like, it's not something I can really quantify. In the case of Juno especially, it's not really to the fault of the film, it's just it rubs me up the wrong way for some reason. Anyway, continuing on, I'm reusing this picture a lot. It's a good picture, but yes, continuing on.
A well-meaning guy that would never hurt anyone and would be...
I'm just droning on in this video. And like, I'm also saying, oh yeah, I would have liked to have spent some time with Kid Barry. Okay, that is worded horribly. But like, you know, we could have had more scenes to demonstrate that Barry's a good kid. It's like, who wants that? Who wants that?
Prepared to stick up for others, and then show that maybe he's not fast enough to outrun the bullies, and then we wouldn't need to say that stupid line of dialogue. This is just one example, but there's so much of this throughout the entire...
Okay, you're asking too much. They were clearly going for a more efficient method of storytelling in that pilot because they wanted to get more to the Flash's origin story, which is a better thing than what I was asking for there, because who wants to see half an hour of the Flash as a child? I mean, I don't. You know what I would rather have? If it's going to be this dumbed down, goofy thing, have him in the costume a lot. Have him just literally running around, chasing after people, all that stuff. Like, I feel like what I really want more than anything else is a more superhero-centric take on the show that has less of the Barry wants to get with Iris malarkey, you know?
Entire show, and it's honestly just painful. But the problem with the dialogue is not just in regards to stupid storytelling or...
Bit stupid, innit? I'm British.
Or poor attempts at foreshadowing. It's the dialogue that isn't there to tell the story for you. It's the dialogue that doesn't hold your hand. Amazing, right? I complained about how too much of the dialogue is just there to hold your
What the fuck am I talking about?
hand and spell the story out for you, and I complained about how bad that is. Now I'm going to complain about the dialogue that doesn't. Now look, for a bit of perspective, I am a millennial. I was born in 1996. I obsess over statistics on social media. I enjoy Starbucks when I can afford it. I am bitter about how the school system raised us all to think we're special, and then we get out there and then it turns out we're not. I'm bitter about the dishonesty of society. I am a dumb, digitally minded millennial.
I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of trying a bit too hard to drive home a point here, but like, I guess I don't disagree.
And it is very obvious that The Flash, among pretty much every other CW show, is made for millennials. It is made to represent us, and I do think representation for millennials is kind of a necessary thing now. Because I won't lie, I get tired of seeing all this stuff like thank God it's Friday. And I don't just want to hear about the hardships of grown adults who have a house, have kids, and have a car, and a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 office job. Like,
I'm sensing bitterness in this. At the time this was written, I would have been between apartments. I don't know, but I'm sensing bitterness.
that's a bad thing. We need a show to represent the people who do have to work unsociable hours on weekends. We need a show that understands mental health issues. We need a show that understands...
I feel like I'm asking for this from the wrong place. I'm asking for bark from a rock. Like, I think millennials can definitely be written better than what they are in shows like The Flash. I think these characters are supposed to be millennials, but, like, I don't really know what I'm talking about here. Like,
that we're told we're special and we're really not. We need a show that understands that maybe just going into a mundane Monday to Friday 9 to 5 office job would be a nice little break from what we have to endure.
But that's not what Barry Allen is.
And I know that sounds ironic considering I'm sat here with nearly 15,000 subscribers on a YouTube channel that does make money, but...
Ha! Back when the channel made money.
The point is,
I'm really bitter about that.
I spent 3 years living in a single room apartment with my bank balance in the quadruple digits but with a minus in the front of it.
What the fuck are you why am I going into this? Why is this necessary to a Flash review?
I wasn't allowed to perform necessary maintenance to my own flat under the tenancy agreement, and the landlord
I'm definitely bitter.
organization weren't particularly interested in the fact that I had maggots in my carpet, but they were happy to charge me £600 a month for it, and the law just wasn't on my side. These are millennial issues.
Okay, so you want to see an episode of The Flash where he's, like, got maggots in his carpet and the landlords aren't listening. What the fuck are you talking about, Channel Pup? What the fuck are you talking about?
This is the reality of being a millennial that a lot of people don't seem to understand. It's not that we want a free home. It's not that we want food
What does this have to do with The Flash?
handed to us. It's not that we want a guarantee of a job that's gonna change the world. We just resent the fact that the system is prepared to screw us over left, right, and center, and we're seen as ungrateful if we say anything. Right, so the CW's Flash is a show made for millennials. So how does it tackle millennials? Like totally awesome, like totally amazing, #feminism, like oh my god, right? Starbucks. I can't live without my soy latte. You're special, sweetie. A good heart is better than fast legs. You're gonna grow up to be amazing. Oh my god, you're the Flash. Oh my god. Let's do some shots. Bullies are bad. You just have no game. The 21st century is all about branding, sweetie. Have you ever watched The Big Bang Theory? He's totally on my to-bang list. I would totally cheat with him. Oh man, I didn't even think my voice could do that.
Valley Girl Channel Pup needs to make a comeback, but while we're on that subject, that whole point could have been made without all of that preamble about the millennial experience, because A, I do not speak for all millennials, B, I'm actually, like, Gen Z, I found out. Like, 1996 is, like, on the fringes of being Gen Z. C, well, we're kind of putting a lot on the generational identity here. And D, it's not a thing that's completely exclusive to millennials. What the fuck am I talking about?
It's this kind of stuff that makes people think we're stupid. So in a show to represent millennials, we've got a guy that legitimately grows up to be special, drinks at Starbucks all the time, says words like totally epic and cool, has a bunch of early 20s friends that all work for Star Labs, an organization made to change the world. And there's a character in there called Cisco whose only purpose is to be like totally relatable for the audience because he watches The Big Bang Theory and references stuff.
Okay, look, I'm just going to condense this right now and trim like 20 minutes and 51 seconds. It's cringe. It is basically the short version of it.
Okay, thanks for nothing there then. I don't mind you going in this direction with the storyline, with having all these young folks working for Star Labs and everything. That can totally work fine, but just don't go so hard on the it's millennial representation angle. As
they never did that. They just targeted millennials with the show. The fuck are you talking about, Channel Pup?
they try to have these moral messages in the show, these moral, real-world societal things where if you're like this person here, or if you're Generation X, you're bad. It's totally cynical to think this way. I've made video...
This is back during the time I was slowly making my way out of my anti-SJW phase, I'm guessing. So... there have been instances where Arrowverse shows have really jumped the gun on political messages. For example, the Arrow episode, The Spectre of the Gun. I see all the reviews saying it's very astonishingly ambitious and stuff like that. But basically the whole story is that there's a mass shooting in Star City, which, given the context of Arrow, is surely small potatoes by comparison to other things that have happened there. But also, like, so the daring solution is that basically Stephen Amell goes head-to-head with this more conservative politician, and he basically solves all gun crime by saying, like, okay, citizens will maintain their access to guns and firearms, but citizens also have a right to defend themselves in the event of a mass shooting. And the politician lady's like, this is going to extract a heavy toll. And then at the end, he makes this big speech about how it's going to, you know, be quite an adjustment for the people of Star City. But it's like, what the fuck? That nothing has changed. Like, it's a completely toothless stance. Then there's also the whole thing of... Black Lightning taking on kind of the Breonna Taylor incident in a way, and it just does it in a way that's like so toothless and inappropriate. Like, if you're going to have a political message, you need to go all the way with it. And I don't care whether it's one I agree with or disagree with, personally. It just, you need to do something with it, and that's something that the Arrowverse shows do not do enough of, is going all the way with it. If they're not going to go all the way with it, then don't bother, basically. So, yeah, that's kind of the point I'm making there. This is definitely when I was edging out my anti-SJW phase, where I was basically taking entertainment personally all the time. But since then, I've grown a pair, and I don't do that anymore.
Videos before talking about one problem that does come with digital online culture is echo chamber YouTube channels that tell you what to and what not to think.
Holy fuck me, we're going there.
And that is a growing problem as we enter this digital age, is you can kind of just, why have your own opinion when you can share an opinion with a guy on YouTube without even, say, watching the film that they're talking about?
I mean, there's a point there, but it's very much dipped in the hole. You know, you're not free to think what you want to think and stuff, but there are such things as being morally reprehensible, but, like, I don't think I meant that, but it definitely seems to fall in line with that typical argument.
It's something I've always wanted to avoid my channel ever being, is an echo chamber, where these videos are aimed at giving you my opinions so they can be your opinions. I always kind of try to address two different sides and always ask my audience.
I've tried addressing two different sides on many aspects of things like MCU Spider-Man, for example, and I'm not very good at it. So now I kind of just review things with my heart, and if you don't agree, that's cool. But if you do agree, that's also cool. I don't know why I even make content at this point. I just enjoy doing it and hope you enjoy watching it effectively. Maybe that's why this is back when the channel was making money. Maybe that's why, is because I acknowledge that my content isn't important anymore. Who knows? But like, what a fucking arrogant little bitch I was in this video. Jesus.
At the end of every video what they think, and it's a thing.
Oh, you're such a fucking saint.
Very much in the modern political landscape is the right wing and the left wing keep accusing each other of telling each other what to think. The truth is they're both just massive hypocrites.
Oh, for fuck's sake, why are you trying to make a mass statement on the left and right wing in a video that's about the Flash? What the fuck, Channel Pup?
We've got networks like the CW pushing an extremely polished and idealistic neoliberal world
oh my god, shut the fuck up. You've got no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Onto the audience.
You don't even know what neoliberal means. I don't even know what neoliberal means. I know kind of along the lines of what a left wing and a right wing is, but like, I don't even know what neoliberal means.
And treating their narratives with a very almost sort of a judgmental kind of an air to them.
How dare a show have a stance? Like, holy fuck.
And it's been something that's kind of been developing a lot over time with other CW shows that I don't so much watch. One example is how they portrayed Batwoman as a character that has gone in, stolen all of Batman's tech, but now demonizes Batman for taking the credit for what she does, even though Batman hasn't done it. It's just...
I only took that from the trailer. I don't know if it's any different in the show. The trailer, it was insufferable how much they tried to push the whole it's feminism thing, because they did it in a way that was so ham-handed that it hurt the cause actively. Like, oh, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm all on board with the idea of a Batwoman and a Batwoman show. It's just, yeah, the execution wasn't very good, but what the fuck am I talking about here? Like, why am I... So here's the thing, I just made the point a while ago about making half-assed, toothless political statements in entertainment that don't go all the way with something. And it's like, in this video, I do just that. When I'm just like, oh, left wing, right wing, they're all just hypocrites. You know, like, no, there's points on either side. Like the left wing have been suffering for a long time and they're hurting and their arguments come from a place of hurt, and conservatives don't necessarily want to change their lifestyle to accommodate for their hurting because they don't really view it as their responsibility. And basically there's more and more anger growing between the two sides that people are forgetting that there can be good people on either sides and that creates radicalism. If the right are immediately vilified, they become more radicalized. If the left are completely neglected and not listened to, they become more radicalized. And everyone just needs to stop fucking yelling at each other, for starters. But also, I've been guilty of it myself because there's a lot of pain. So it's like, it's one of those things where there's a lot of how and why, but like, fuck me, why am I trying to address this toothlessly and half-heartedly in a video about The Flash? The fuck?
Just people are mistaking her for Batman when she's dressed like Batman. And that's being pushed as this feminist angle that sort of demonizes men. An actual quote from...
That demonizes men. No, it's not that it demonizes men, it's just that it's goofy as fuck and really stupid.
One of the later seasons of Supergirl was something along the lines of, you don't need Superman when you've got Supergirl.
That was in season 1, a show that earlier on in the video you claimed was okay.
And the thing is, I think like feminism does need to be properly handled on TV and in film, but this is not the way, which causes echo chamber YouTube channels and other echo chamber networks to then say feminism is definitely bad because look at what they did to it in the CW.
Yeah, so I was making my gradual way out of the anti-SJW phase at this point, I guess.
And now, if you so much as acknowledge that women exist beyond just being supermodels, out come the other angry echo chambers to say SJWs have claimed another victim. And I know this...
Okay, so yeah, I was making my way out, evidently, but I definitely wasn't all the way, that's for sure.
Sounds like a tangent, but this is an issue with the CW's Flash and a lot of other CW shows.
It is a tangent that you've spent way too much time on. There's things to say there, but you've done it in an incredibly ham-handed way, Channel Pup.
Is that they do not have any kind of encouragement for audience members to think for themselves. They try to outline real-world social issues.
Just one more thing, like, how long is Stardust Speedway going to play in the background of this 20-minute video? Stardust Speedway, great track, but for 20 minutes?
Try to pander to millennials by talking you through everything and basically saying good guys think this, bad guys think that. And I just can't stand that. Like, people should be encouraged to think for themselves, especially in these formative years for a new generation. By all means, acknowledge a real world issue, but don't just spell out the right and wrong answers for your audience.
So basically what you're saying is that the Flash shouldn't have villains or heroes, it should just be this vague landscape of just people. Is that... like, what are you trying to say?
And it's just how the CW deals with feminism and stuff like that, is they need to treat these matters for what they are, not for their idealistic vision of what they are.
I stand by the CW is perhaps a little bit too idealistic. That's a fair point, but you're wording it really, really badly.
And then we come round to the other problem of the idealistic image of the world portrayed in The Flash,
Haven't we just talked about this enough?
in all of the Arrowverse, and portrayed in, like, Riverdale, for example. Like how they don't treat the real-world issues for what they are, but an idealistic image of what they are. They don't treat their characters for what they are. They treat them as the idealistic image of what they are. They don't cast actors that necessarily suit the role. They cast actors that look good for their network.
That's not what you're talking about, though. You're basically just saying that the casting is rather plain, effectively.
That look good for millennials. And you really feel
it's not exclusive to millennials.
it. It really, really feels idealistic. It doesn't feel real by any stretch. Like, look at the CW's take on Riverdale. Look at who they cast as Archie. They took a young heartthrob actor and dyed his hair orange. Another point...
Okay, that is really funny and laughable, but I think it's another thing that is so all over the place. This video is just all over the map with the messages it's trying to convey here. Archie has always been kind of an idealized version of that sort of high school experience, so kind of the CW is kind of a good fit. The thing is that the CW made it incredibly edgy as well, but like, yeah, it is like really funny that they took a normal hair colored guy and turned him ginger. Normal hair colored, fuck me. But like, this man is not ginger, that's what I mean to say.
is Grant Gustin as the Flash. Grant Gustin is a talented guy. He can sing really well and he's a good actor too. But as the Flash, he just doesn't work for me. And I don't know why.
It has nothing to do with Grant Gustin. Grant Gustin is a fine actor and a good actor to play the Flash. You just don't like the show that he's in. If you take his performance, clip it out and pop it in something else with better dialogue, I'm sure you'd like him just fine.
I think maybe it's down to how the show's directed, but he, like most others in this show, just doesn't turn in a good performance. Everyone in this
The performance isn't the problem.
show just has two modes, sad mode, happy mode, and they all feel so utterly artificial. Okay, now it's time for some more trivial stuff. I don't understand the thought process.
Now we're getting to the
behind
trivial
the
stuff,
Flash's
Jesus.
costume. It's a sort of very maroonish, sort of a browny colored leather, and it's very baggy on him. Surely the immediate thought would be make it something streamlined and spandexy.
Yeah, fair point. Like, the Flash's costume just wouldn't be baggy. But, like, at least they got it right in the 6th season, right? Yeah. I mean, am I talking exclusively about season 1 here, or what? Because that costume did change over time. It took way too long for them to get it right, in my opinion, but it did change.
Now, the costume did improve a bit over the years.
All right, there we go.
Season 5 finally brought us an actual tight spandex suit for the Flash.
All right,
but then they gave him this oddly large, top-heavy helmet that makes him look like Roger the Alien. Come on, guys!
Maybe show a picture of that in the video.
And the red is now almost pastel red.
Where is this?
Finally, just a little nitpick.
Where's the-
I've always found a bit
where's the
insulting
picture?
to the intelligence is in season 1 of the Flash. Whenever the Flash goes fast, his little mask flies off. Of his
Video
head.
editing,
It's just
where is it?
I'm sorry, but it's so obvious that that is not just a little clothy hood, like it flies off. Come on. And then this is like the nitpick to end all nitpicks, but whenever someone mentions the Flash, it's always my first memory of the Flash that comes to my head. And this is such a nitpick. But there's this scene in season 1 towards the beginning where I think Barry and Iris are talking while they've got cups of coffee, and you can see that the cups are very obviously empty.
That's not a problem that's mutually exclusive to the Flash, you fucking donut. It's in a lot of entertainment, is that cups are empty. You say that's trivial. Yeah, it's fucking trivial. So trivial it didn't need to be in the fucking video.
Because there's no kind of weight to them. It's just like the defining moment. It's just the epitome of how lazy and stupid this show is. It's peak CW. So as for the later seasons, I haven't really watched them because I knew I didn't like season 1, so why would I watch the rest?
Wow, that's totally enough here to make an entire assessment on the entirety of the CW Flash.
Well, I understand that season 1 is all about Flash taking down an evil speedster, so surely, like, if that's a big success, you should do something very different for the next one. But no, it's an evil speedster again, and then 3, it's an evil speedster, and then 4, it's an evil speedster.
Maybe watch the series before making a judgment on it.
Lazy. The CW for me is like the equivalent to Illumination Entertainment. It's like what Illumination Entertainment is to animated films, is what CW is to superheroes, where the product comes before the project. So wrapping this up, this is just of course my opinion. I'd be interested to hear what you guys think in the comments below. I just find the Flash to be a very irritating presence, and I think it's a prime example of why I just don't do the CW or the Arrowverse. So comment below, discuss, keep it peaceful, and as always, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the like button, and of course in the description below are links.
Wait, we're at the end of the video? It's... Oh boy, we're on the panhandling part now.
Pup has been growing more than I could ever have anticipated over this very short space of time, and I'm absolutely on.
What lovely editing. Literally, I didn't even update my editing software. Everything I have now, I had at my disposal back then. So yeah, take that into account.
To see so many viewers participating in discussions and really enjoying my little projects here, but it's not without its obstacles.
You put a video out like that and have the audacity to ask for money, Jesus.
I'm currently a student studying film and television, and if I want to...
blah, blah, blah.
More. Now the world's a
Well, this just straight up didn't happen in the end, did it?
tricky place. Please don't. Well, I guess I best be hitting the old dusty trail.
What a great fucking editing.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. I've been Channel Pup, and I'll think of a better catchphrase next time.
I never fucking did.
Now please leave me alone!
Alright, sure, yeah, copy Pink Guy. What the fuck was that? Why do you people watch this shit and not my newer content? This is ridiculous. So if you are here from this video, and this is the kind of impression you had of me in the past, I urge you, please check out some of my newer content. It is different. I try to do things way better than what I did here. Yeah, effectively, this is a begging session. I'm begging you to please check out my newer content. Right, now that we're here, let's do a proper patron shout out, because this is going to be a very lightly edited video, and it's probably not going to have credits at the end of it. Let me just get up the list now of patrons. Okay, so relationship manager. Right, who's been paying their bill? Let's find out. Okay, so we got Super Mario, thank you. Digital Heart, thank you. Sirius the Skeptic, thank you. XX Chappelle, thank you. Shenlock Baracus, thank you. Thomas Moore, age 4, thank you. Marcus Ward, thank you. Adzinko, thank you. Filmform Studios, thank you. And Kinundo, thank you. Thank you guys a bunch. You are the lifeblood of this channel in 2021. So, with all that being said, I have been the Channel Pup, and you've been watching this fucking video. What a waste of time. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a great day.